Want to see something funny? Maybe you've already seen it. It's like a joke. The sick joke of
You
the
also have
reality that we
some
live in. To the Joker,
interesting
this would be normal.
reporting on guidance that FEMA was given about messaging for the storm.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. So I've learned that Homeland Security officials have come to FEMA staff and told them to limit the use of the word ICE in their public messaging and social media posts when talking about the storm. The concern is obviously the connection between the immigration enforcement that's happening across the country, particularly in Minnesota. And what they are worried about here is that by posting something like, watch out for the ICE, that it's going to become an opportunity for a meme, for internet fodder, for public ridicule against the Department of Homeland Security. So
it's so fucking stupid, dude. Can you, we basically don't have a federal government anymore. Like when you've reached the point where the Department of Homeland Security can make advisory notices to FEMA. I'm sorry, what is your jurisdiction there? You don't supersede FEMA. That's not how it works. But in this administration, it is, because every branch of the administrative state is basically defunct, except for the Department of Homeland Security, which has been pumped with all the money in the world. FEMA is under DHS? Damn, shows what I know. FEMA didn't exist before 2003? I thought they were part of the DOE, along with other atmospheric science stuff. Huh, okay. Well, fuck me then. I guess they have total authority. This is totally normal. They got moved? Yeah. Okay, yeah, established in 1979 and integrated into DHS post 9/11. Huh. I guess in a way it kind of makes sense that it would be under DHS if you assume that DHS actually was concerned with Homeland Security and not with brutalizing immigrants, you know? Like you could fit that under the fold there a little bit, you know, like Homeland Security protecting us from natural disasters, right? That makes sense. Except of course DHS isn't actually about protecting Americans. Huh, all right, well, still stupid. Everything's 9/11? Yeah. No, for sure. Everything is 9/11, yeah. Lots and lots of agencies fall under the DHS. Well, it kind of makes sense in a way if you think about it as part of the encroach of the surveillance state and of the police state, right? The idea that you would want more and more agencies that sort of internally regulate our government, like it's stuff, internal policing, right? Whether that be immigration or border patrol or FEMA, right? To have them folded under the auspices of the DHS, right? Who've always had, you know, undue power. Cool stuff. Wasn't FEMA a big thing during Katrina? Yeah, well, that would have been like a post-DHS integration, you know? Makes me wonder if that had an impact on it, you know? Did FEMA do worse in Katrina because they were placed under DHS? Because they had a bunch of like racist ICE and Border Patrol guys making managerial decisions? Wouldn't surprise me. I have to read up on that. I genuinely don't know. Clearly, I don't know anything. Oh, I do know something, which is that this is extremely silly. It's a very, very, very social media conscious administration, you know?
they're asking FEMA staff, if you can, don't use the word ICE, try to use the term freezing rain. But part of the problem here, as I talk to
freezing rain
agency officials about this, is they're saying what we're talking about is ice, and what we're talking about is saving lives.
Yeah, no, when you say freezing rain, that makes me think, oh, I'll put on a raincoat. It doesn't make me think ice.
Right, and what we're largely talking about, and I'm not a forecaster, but this is largely an ice event. And a lot of states that I've talked to are saying what we're preparing for is destructive ice that could damage power grids, you know, cut power to a lot of homes and wreak havoc on roads. And it is pretty remarkable that Homeland Security is saying, please try to avoid using that word.
Because they're afraid of memes. Meanwhile, lives are on the line. Another incredibly idiotic story. Thanks so much. You also
that was straightforward. That's the most straightforward coverage I've ever seen from CNN, to be honest with you. That was just, they're just like, wow, that's fucking stupid. Goodbye. So, okay. So, I mean, I hate Tapper, but, you know, I guess I appreciate him being earnest and forthcoming there. Afraid of memes? Look, I said this yesterday, but it came at, why do you hate Tapper? Every possible reason you could hate a person. I'm not even getting into it. He's evil. Anyway, I talked about this yesterday, but with regard to like social media conscientiousness from the administration, it came out recently that in addition to a bunch of other really funny stuff, the response from the FBI and Kash Patel specifically after Charlie Kirk's kirkening was their social media response. Like, hit the ground running, you know? First thing, what do? Not investigate the scene, not deploy agents, not coordinate resources with local PD. First thing we're going to do, we're going to tweet. First, I'm going to tweet this, and then you're going to tweet that. He's talking with Bongino, you know? I'm going to tweet, then you're going to tweet, then I'm going to tweet. We've got this covered, brother. What? One of us is gonna confidentially leak to Tim Pool that Charlie Kirk is stable. Really build the anticipation up, you know? Please, God. God, it's such a fucking joke. Want to see something that's not a joke? I kind of like on the opposite side of competence, you know?
There's no doubt about it. Right now, a big winter storm is headed our way. It looks like at least 8 to 9.
Love his custom fleece zip up, by the way. Zoran Mamdani Mayor, super cool.
Inches of snow, if not more. Luckily, when it snows here, New York City's strongest are on the front line. On Friday morning, the Department of Sanitation began preparing our roads and highways for the snowstorm. Thousands of DSNY trucks have been converted into snowplows, transforming our city sanitation department into the nation's largest snow fighting force. This weekend, each 12-hour shift will be staffed by more than 2,000 sanitation workers. As soon as the first snowflakes fall, crews will begin salting roads in every neighborhood in every borough. And once there's more than...
It's like he embarrasses every other local leader. Like, why aren't you trying this hard? I think what a lot of people don't... So many people, they treat the mayorship or any political position like a bureaucracy. What they need to treat it like is a war. Because that's how the right managed to get Trump in office a second time, you know? Like, every day you have to wake up and you have to go, what is the most I can do, right? Like millions of people are counting on me. What is the most that I can do? Every morning you have to get up and you have to visualize your candidacy, your mayorship or whatever else, your congressionship, whatever, as a battle against the worst timeline. Mamdani seems to be the only Dem that realizes how important social media messaging is. Yeah, to a large extent, yeah. I mean, well, Republicans understand, right? Like Kash Patel understands, it's, you know, even if it's like in a more embarrassing way. But yeah, no, 100%. It's just, you have to remind people that you're fighting for them. And not in the typical, we hear you, we see you, we just voted more money to Raytheon kind of way or whatever. But like, I mentioned this to you before, but snowstorms implicitly mean municipalities in northern states have to be more organized because there's more done at local levels. I think you're right about that. Yeah, yeah. If winters can get bad in an area, it basically necessitates some level of organized, you know, coordinated municipal engagement with that, right? Hot summers don't really, like, so you get like rough summers in LA, people get heat stroke or whatever. The government doesn't really do anything about that, right? Like, there's not much, like, what are you gonna, there's not much you can do apart from, I don't know, knock the fire hydrants off, you know, build some shade for next year. Right? It doesn't require the same kind of investment. Before we finish the video, I just want to say, with regard to coordination, take a look at this. New York City has an app that allows you to see how recently the streets were plowed of snow. And look at this. Green means 0 to 1 hours ago. That is really good. Well done, Mamdani. Did a great job. I mean, obviously he's not the one plowing it, but he's coordinated the effort, and, you know, that is very, very good. No, he is plowing. He might be plowing. nyc.gov/plownyc. I've always really appreciated the fact that in New York City, and this is unique, like in the world, I don't know anywhere else in America, at least, that does this. The New York City local government, they treat the sanitation workers like the military. They have their own uniforms. They have like badges, awards, and honors. They have like honorable, like when a person retires or dies, they get the 5-star treatment, which I think is based. They basically get treated like cops, except they're fighting, you know, grime instead of black people. Wait, that doesn't stand with the USA? Fuck no. God no. Absolutely not. Not even remotely. I don't think there are many places in the world where every sanitation worker has a service photo that looks like this, you know? That's pretty unique to New York City, I feel. Based. Oh, it's super based. Yeah. They look good as hell too. Sorry about the grainy ass photo. I'm just pulling off Google Images here, but you know. Look at this. From NYC Sanitation, just a random post from 2023. At today's graduation and promotion ceremony, this is for sanitation workers. 93 sanitation workers joined the strongest 72 workers donned bars as newly promoted supervisors, and Anthony Penolino took his oath as chief of department. They have like service dress. It's a whole thing. God bless them. Only real city. It's the only real city in the world. Yeah. For sure. It's pretty cool, but what's the point of this? I'm not sure what you mean. Stuff like this builds tradition, discipline, and respect. And sanitation workers should be respected. Imagine, if you will, a world where the police don't suck, okay? Sanitation workers are objectively more committed day to day to keeping the city together than either fire or police. That's just a fact. They have far more work to do. Crime and fire are, ephemeral, spotty. They pop up, oh here. Grime is everywhere. This is 24/7, baby. They're on it. They're engaged in a non-stop battle. Yeah, they're fighting entropy. It's the greatest enemy of all.
2 inches of snow on the ground, plows will roll out across more than 19,000 lane miles of roadways and bikeways. The job doesn't just stop at the curb. The city's emergency management team is at the ready, coordinating our response and making sure that New Yorkers are informed every step of the way. We're ready, but we need you to do your part too. Here's how. If you're a property owner, you're responsible for clearing the snow and the ice from your sidewalk. And while sanitation workers are clearing our streets, trash and recycling pickup may be delayed, so please be patient. You can call 311 or check nyc.gov/DSNY for updates. For all other updates, be sure to sign up by texting Notify NYC to 692-692. My ask to you is to avoid unnecessary travel on Sunday. We're coordinating with the MTA to ensure that public transit continues running as smoothly as possible. And for all of our public school students, we'll be making the decision by Sunday at 12 p.m. on whether Monday will be an in-person school day or a remote learning day.
And to all our school kids, that means the next time you see the mayor, you can get him with a snowball.
In the meantime, take care of yourself. Check in on your neighbors. And when the snow stops, maybe grab a sled. Enjoy your city.
It's very nice. It's very nice. It's very cute. It's Was that John, New York? Yeah. That worker looks so happy. It is impossible to overstate how much more you can get from people willingly and happily if you boost their morale, and how much their morale is boosted if you let them know you value their work. Can you imagine working under Cuomo or Adams as a sanitation worker? Like, they fucking do not give a shit about you. Like, to them, you are the dirt you clean up,